Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Why, hello everyone, I am Katie Petrick, joined by Dr. Jake Jacobs, and it is Monday, Jake.
Yes, I love Monday.
What does that mean if it's Monday here on Educated?
It's live.
Live here on Rumble. So welcome everyone. And now, as always, we are giving away a $20 Amazon gift card every week. All you have to do is follow the page at rumble.com/Freedom Project and then leave a comment on the video. Any comment. Hey, how's it going? What's up? Good to see you. Not good to see you. It doesn't matter. Just leave us a nice little comment of your choice. Now, we're going to stick around in our home state here of Wisconsin for our first story today because we have a school just north of here. A little bit up north.
By the Packers.
By the Packers there. And it is testing out a trend, this school, that removes all privacy from high school bathrooms by installing windows where basically everyone can see who is inside the bathroom.
You're not serious.
I'm not serious.
Can't be serious.
I'm for serious. This is what's happening.
Okay.
It's good stuff. So these bathrooms all across Green Bay secondary schools, that's what's happening. They could have said windows installed. And we're going to take a look and see why it is that the district thinks, you know what, this is actually necessary.
I was kind of taken aback by that.
For one Preble High School parent, seeing windows installed in school bathrooms brings great concern.
We went to go check them out, and the exterior walls are all windows. You could see the inside, you could see the doors to the bathroom stalls, you could see pretty much everything inside.
The parent wished to remain anonymous as she is a student at Preble High. She says this all happened during a parent school visit. Many on social media commenting on the situation, citing safety and privacy concerns for students.
One of the issues, especially at the high school level, is I would say students spending more time in the restroom than they probably should.
Kale Pochinski is the Chief Operating Officer of the Green Bay Area Public School District. He says adding windows provides more supervision in the common areas of the school. Preble High School is the first school in the district to implement windows, but might not be the last. The $183 million referendum consists of $33 million going towards security and privacy, which could include adding windows to bathrooms across the district. Parents I spoke with said their students are avoiding the new look restrooms.
They will go out of their way to not use that bathroom because not all the bathrooms are like that. It's just the two that are in the commons areas.
The restrooms are performing how we had hoped they would, and we would certainly think that would continue.
What's it like to be an administrator to try to defend something like this?
It's working the way we hoped they would.
To the tune of millions of dollars eventually. I mean, they want it across, all of Green Bay or the state of Wisconsin?
Well, yeah, and they're the fact that they are putting this as like the big, I don't know if it's the big ticket item or like the big sell point for this referendum that they have going on.
Opposite effect.
The millions and millions of dollars they are going to spend for putting glass like windows in the bathrooms. Please, good taxpayers of Wisconsin, please sign off on this referendum so that you too can have windows in your bathroom.
And they said that they put it in the commons area.
In the commons
we're
area.
Talking, that's where almost all the people are congregating. It's where the kids are hanging out.
And it would be different. And okay, I get like that. This is like a test for them. But if they are noticing right now that no one wants to use those bathrooms, are they just going to basically like Hunger Games style them, where they like keep pushing it out more and more and more, and they're going to be forced into having to use a bathroom that has those windows because they say they eventually want to get it installed everywhere. So either ladies are going to have a lot of more UTIs going on because they're going to be trying to hold it because they don't want to go into any of these bathrooms, or who knows what the gents will be doing.
And by the way, that problem is happening across the country when it comes to a lot of the transgender bathroom situations where a lot of young ladies are refusing to go to the bathroom. They don't want to be accosted or possibly, having some she in there pretending to be something he's not and doing his thing in a girl's bathroom.
Well, and that brings up a good point because like these windowed now bathrooms, basically is where all the mirrors used to be. You can see in there's like one mirror, and then it's just windows. I get from the standpoint of we're sick of most likely girls spending all the time just staring at the mirror and doing selfies and doing videos and TikToks and all that other jazz. But at the same time, is it a good thing then to have the windows because of this whole transgender issue and did you remember what happened in Virginia?
That's right. And other
where
states.
The boy went in the girl's bathroom
and raped her.
So it's a quite interesting, I guess, predicament here. But the way you talked about, what is it, Cal Polchinski, the superintendent, tried to spin it.
Well, that's just, you think in this day and age, we talk about the administrative bureaucratic state in the deep swamp, Washington, D.C., but this kind of administrative lack of common sense, lack of normal decency, lack of just the basic ideas of privacy and decency and normal sexuality has gone out the window. These mores, this understanding, the world that I was raised in these guys are getting paid six figures, and they're perpetuating this insanity. And it's not happening in San Francisco and Los Angeles and Chicago and Philadelphia. It's happening in our backyard.
Yeah, in little Green Bay, Wisconsin. And the fact that the six-figure guy is in charge of making plans and ideas for the eight-figure referendum is insanity.
It is insanity.
It's all your tax money, everybody. Have fun with it or something.
I'll bet you he's a Democrat.
I'll bet you a lot of things about him. But hey, we don't have to stay here in Wisconsin anymore and hate on our own state. Let's, maybe show a little love to a sheriff down south.
Ooh, the great state of Florida.
In Florida State. In Florida. We have at least one sheriff who's out there trying to get parents to help them help you. We have a Cuba Gooding, or is it? No, it was Cuba Gooding Jr. in that movie, but it was Tom Cruise who said, "Help me." Yeah,
show me the money.
Help me, help you. Right? We have a Florida sheriff who has called out parents and students after saying his agency spent nearly $21,000 investigating dozens of hoax school threats posted on social media in less than a day. Like it all happened all in this one day, and now the department had to spend $21,000. Because they're doing their job. They have to investigate this stuff. So it was the Volusia, County Sheriff Mike Chitwood. He spoke at a news conference alongside the Volusia, I think that's how you pronounce it, public schools officials. He described the situation as absolutely out of control. So what's the story?
Since parents, you don't want to raise your kids, I'm going to start raising them.
Volusia County, Florida Sheriff Mike Chitwood has been overwhelmed with school threats since school started 3 weeks ago. Friday was the tipping point.
In a 12-hour period, we had to investigate 54 tips that all turned out to be bogus that were sent by two little cherubs in middle school. And that cost us about $21,000 to overtime.
Friday, Sheriff Chitwood decided he would shame the people who make bogus threats and their parents. Carlo Dorelli was arrested for making threats. The 11-year-old was handcuffed and escorted to jail.
Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp walk your kid so that everybody can see what your kid's up to. I don't care how old they are. I want everybody to see them. I want everybody to know who they are. Here's what their charges are. Let the parents know that law enforcement isn't playing.
Sheriff's deputies confiscated fake rifles, pistols, ammunition, knives, and swords. Dorelli is in middle school. He will spend 21 days in jail before he has a court hearing.
Touché. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, I like how in basically the same breath, the Sheriff Chitwood calls them little cherubs, and I'm going to perp walk your kid out. So there's that. You used to be able to have that kind of a conversation and be like, yes, I understand what this is. you do view these kids as little cherubs, but at the same time, we need to have them take responsibility and make them realize this is serious, what they're doing.
Consequences of their actions.
So we used to be able to do that like across the country. Now it takes a special guy down in Florida, a sheriff, to like actually point that out to us, and us to be over here like, thank you, finally, someone's saying it.
Did you notice how they were being very careful with him when they took him out? They wanted to make sure it didn't look like they were harassing him.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Any little wrong move, and it would have been turmoil. All right, well, you heard there, Chitwood said that there were 54 threats, and it was reported to the Fortify Florida app. And it's an app that allows citizens to report suspicious activity to law enforcement agencies. And he said that was in 12 hours. And he basically said that, like, that little time period, it took all the manpower away from real things that they could be working on, and it cost us how much money? $21,000 just to do these investigations. Now, at Heritage Middle School, they talked about how a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old student were arrested and charged with making written threats to kill. That's a felony, and it was after allegedly posting about committing a school shooting on TikTok and Instagram. And then there was a possible third suspect who was being investigated. Now, I like what he says. I am in favor of what he said about how law enforcement will come after parents of kids who make bogus school violence threats. This part he didn't say in the video, but unless I missed it. Parents, you don't want to raise your kids. I'm going to start raising them. Every time we make an arrest, again, and then he said this part, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp walk it, like he said in the video, so that everybody can see what your kid's up to. And here's the thing, in this day and age, isn't that what we want have our kids do anyway? Like you parents, you're Instagramming, TikToking your children 24/7 anyway. Look at my little, Billy. Look at what he did. Oh, look, here's Sally. Now it can just be a perp walk. Oh, look at Sally. Oh, those cuffs are cute. Oh my, that's so isn't she adorable? She gets those dimples from me.
Yeah, but in the meantime, they're threatening to kill people in a school. Yeah. I mean, really expose the parents too while you're at it. I like how he calls them little knuckleheads, by the way. This sheriff is no nonsense, man. This is great stuff. And by the way, you compare and contrast what's going on and the craziness of California to the reality, living in reality, and having law enforcement in Florida. No wonder people are fleeing California and they're going to other parts of the country, including Florida. Yeah, well, in the rest of the sheriff's quote that you just referenced, he says how it's absolutely ridiculous. Go talk to the families who have lost a loved one in a school shooting. These little knuckleheads think it's funny. Go talk to those parents and see how funny this is. It's not. It's not. We need more of that type of leadership. And we need it at the highest of political spheres, which we don't get. We just get the bickering going back and forth between people who are supposed to be adults, but they're not. Look, so I'm glad, Mr. Chitwood, that you're doing this. It's interesting you say that, because you need leadership in school boards. You need leadership within school administrators. You need leadership with all the various levels. And we're finding that from Governor DeSantis to this particular sheriff to more school board members in the state of Florida, I'll tell you, I wish the country would go in the direction of Florida, not the way it's going in the direction of California. You mean more like state control stuff? Like states' rights? Like states looking, like you look... Local control of things? Parents, maybe the education. Even parents involved in engaging responsible. I don't know. Yeah. We're just talking here. We don't know. All right, well, we do have a lot more to say on Educated, so stay with us.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
The Disney magic is not for everyone, apparently, after bureaucrats decided that it's all for me and none for thee. We have 6 Department of Education employees who used forged permission slips to take their own children and grandchildren to Disney World and on other city-funded trips, that were meant for, homeless students. Wow, that sounds magical, does it not, Jake?
This sounds beyond. This is beyond goofy.
It is quite.
This is criminal. This
I'm
is
trying
robbery.
to think. This is. Where's Robin Hood? That's Disney. All right, let's see what happened.
A real-life Cruella de Vil situation here. A woman is accused of using Disney World tickets instead of giving them to kids who are dealing with homelessness. Investigators say 6 employees of New York City's public school system took their own kids and grandkids to the park and on other trips. The trips are meant to enrich students who are living in shelters and other temporary housing. A whistleblower raising concerns back in 2018, pushing that investigation. The Department of Education says the 6 people no longer work in the public school system.
Good, I'm glad they got fired.
They no longer work in the public school system, but they've done enough work, and by enough work, I mean they've taken away the magic that is, at least used to be, at Disney for kids who are already dealing with a lot. But hey, it's all for me and none for thee. So the secret perks, I guess, robbed some of the city's most disadvantaged kids of a chance to enjoy Magic Kingdom, which was a trip that cost $66,000 that was meant for 50 or so adults and kids, according to the whistleblower that they were talking about. And there were other multiple day trips that between 2016 and 2019. They went to DC, to New Orleans, Boston, upstate Rocking Horse Ranch Resort, and the Frost Valley YMCA campground. And this was all coming out of an investigation from the Special Commissioner of Investigation for City Schools. Why do we have to have a Special Commissioner of Investigation for city schools? Why is that? You see how out of control our schools have gotten, like the bureaucracy of within the school system? Anyway, Linda M. Wilson, she's our, lady in charge that supposedly, according to an investigation, is the one who's the ringleader of all of this. So she is a Queens supervisor, or was a Queens supervisor of the Department of Education's Students in Temporary Housing. The fact, again, that we have a position for her.
Well, she must make some good coin.
Spoiler alert, she didn't get fired, but she retired. But she was making, at the time, $99,726.
You might as well say $100,000.
$100K to be the lady basically who takes away opportunities for the homeless. But hey, she's the supervisor of the students in temporary housing, so that means something. It means that she took her own 2 daughters on trips and encouraged her colleagues to take their sons and daughters and grandchildren. But then, when there was a little bit of sniffing going around to see what's going on there, said, hey, everybody, shh, don't tell anyone. So she told, supposedly, this is according, it's all she said information, that they were supposed to cover it up when the questions started to be asked. Here, let's talk about some unethical activity here. What happens here stays with us, Wilson allegedly told her coworkers. And then an employee said about this situation that Wilson said everyone should stick to the same story, that we did not take our children on the trip. She told us to lie to the investigators. What an upstanding citizen and a real educator for our most vulnerable.
And you wonder why we're having problems in education?
I don't wonder at all. I know, exactly.
And I'll bet you any money she loves to work with the National Education Association or the American Federation of Teachers.
Or both.
The same kind of individuals that make well over 6 figures, don't care at all about the kids, only care about their self-aggrandizement. And that's what this is all about. This is what's going on here.
Yeah. And contributing factors, it's not causation, but there's some correlation in what's going on here with those big unions, especially in the big cities schools.
Yeah.
Last year, a record 119,320 New York City students, which is roughly 1 in 9 kids who are enrolled in public schools, experienced homelessness, according to Advocates for Children of New York. And most of these trips that they were taking did have students who were of this homeless population. However, valuable spots were taken up by these kids and grandkids of those who can not easily, but can definitely afford to take their children on these trips.
Yeah, that's just so sad to really see that happening. The corruption, and of course, this is coming. What city is this coming out of?
New York.
I am not surprised. So much corruption on so many different levels, and these kids are being robbed by those who have the wherewithal to be able to take their kids on their dime.
Yep. And according to this, most of these out-of-town trips that they took included 4 to 6 staff members as chaperones and 1 or 2 buses for about 30 kids each. And so they're saying that, like, if all of those staffers were taking up the 2 to 3 spots, I mean, that's like you're getting to half of a bus. Like, a quarter of the people now have become people who shouldn't be there.
The question I would ask is, to me, this sounds criminal. Why hasn't anybody been arrested? To me, this is stealing of funds. So what's the slap on the wrist or retiring? How come nobody's seen any jail time?
Oh, yes.
This?
So it actually addresses that fact that, no, well, none of them are actually having or with the school district anymore. At least one of the women paid back the restitution of it, but the restitution should have been like $3,000 for, the activity that she did or whatever. And she did say, well, Wilson told us to, but she, still has to pay the fine. But they reduced it because she couldn't afford to pay back. So she paid back how much it would have cost. I think they went to New York City to see Hamilton or something. And so she paid back for her kids to have gone to do that. But every one of the staffers or former staffers or the women who came forward said, Wilson told us to do it. Wilson told us to do it.
I don't care. They all should have had to pay. I'm sorry. I'm just saying they should have had to have paid for the trip.
Well, yeah. Well, they should have and face, criminal activity, but it's all, they can't prove it. And so just like New York's, they're going to get away with it. Oh, how exciting. All right. Well, even more exciting is the fact that we have Babylon Bee headlines up next and we need to pick a winner because so far it's kind of a loser of a show, huh? These women out there just taking money from the children. Stick with us.
In 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. Introducing Patriot Mobile, the wireless carrier that stands with you. We are committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream.
Get free activation now with promo code EDUCATED.
All right, before we wrap things up, let's take a look at everyone's favorite satire site, the Babylon Bee.
Here are this week's top 5 Babylon Bee headlines.
We've picked our favorite headlines, and now we ask you to help us decide which one should be named Queen of the Hive. We'll start with number 1. We can't afford another 4 years of this, shouts running mate of candidate who has been leading country for 4 years. 2, Jill Biden becomes first female president. And number 3, 15 seconds into Kamala Harris's interview, Oprah decides to endorse Trump. Number 4, Oprah releases moving 1-hour special on dangers of alcohol abuse. And finally, number 5, Biden promises next Trump assassin will be a woman of color. Oh. All right. For all of our friends watching, which one do you like best? Katie, let's start with you.
Okay, the last one got me. Number 5, Biden promises the next Trump assassin will be a woman of color. I mean, that's the thing. It's only been 2 white dudes. Like, if we have to have the proper DEI hire here in this instance.
Yes, I fell for it for a moment. I mean, okay, I see it. All right.
We need it. Otherwise, it's not going to be a proper assassination attempt.
No, this is imbalance. This is profound imbalance.
It's uncalled for.
Yes,
unnecessary.
You're right.
And this is so cruel.
Kamala, even with Ellen DeGeneres, said that he wouldn't come out alive. So there's your candidate.
Well,
right
hey,
there.
that's something right there. All right, Jake, what are we thinking?
What am I thinking? Let's see, the Jill one, okay, so she was in a cabinet meeting where Biden was, she ran the meeting and stuff, but I don't know if that's my biggie.
Well, can we just address for one short second the fact that there hadn't been a meeting in a year almost?
It's 11 months.
11
You're
months.
absolutely right. Yeah.
And the fact that no one's making a big deal about it, like, oh, we're just cool with that. That's fine. No probs.
Yeah,
we're just okay with it.
And that's why the question is, who's running the government? Yeah, absolutely.
But what one do you actually like then?
Okay, so we got to go back to him again. For me, it's got to be number 3. 15 seconds into Kamala Harris's interview, Oprah decides to endorse Trump. I mean, if you saw that interview, oh my God, it was the queen of word saladism.
Well, Oprah's trying to be healthy, so she probably appreciated eating up that salad. Klotz over on Rumble likes number 1. Here's the thing about number 1.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a real thing.
It is a real thing. He did say that.
Okay, good. Because I was like, I thought he actually did say that, but it's just kind of like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's exactly. How can they defend it? It's just, and it's fine because the media just covers up.
The Babylon Bee loves this craziness, the craziness
of the left.
It's
so good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, people, that's going to wrap up our top headlines of the week. More satire next time.
All right, if you do enjoy our content, please follow us. Follow at rumble.com/Freedom Project and leave a comment on this video, any old comment, and you could win yourself a $20 Amazon gift card. Now, for Jake and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting what we do. Until next time, stay educated.